Hey YouTube, Warbles on a lot here with a mad scientist video entitled Hillbilly Potbelly Thermodynamics. So, to look at the thermodynamics of a hillbilly's potbelly, we have to look part 1, line 1 at the fuel that's going into it. If we begin with a wind-fallen eucalyptus, which I know is a red range white stringy bark, but other people would know as a white gum, and that fell onto my gate. And when it fell onto my gate, I used my chainsaw guide rail to mill some quarter cut timber with which to tie wire, weld, wood, repair the gate. But out here on the other side, there were the branches, the crown of the tree, cut up into pieces which were removable by me. So yeah, pardon the questionable rhyme scheme there, cut up into branches which were removable by me, the little bits of the tree. So anyway, yeah, this is the second time that I've come down here with the chainsaw and burned about a teacup full of petrol oil mixture. And one of the things about having a good fire is you should never rely on a single species of wood. You should always burn a sort of a mixture, it's composite technology. Consider it hybrid vigor for the fireplace, if that makes any kind of a sense. So, as well as the Ranges Valley white stringy bark, or the white gum from the front gate windfall, to make that heat haze clear flue emanation above my palatial residence. So, to keep everything absolutely kosher according to the theory, I also use the dead air-dried wattle tree, which has happened to fall upon my neglected compost heap. Because, that's kind of just how things go in the forest. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So I'll just accept that despite the solar panels to feed the pyramid of power, there does exist a fossil fuel burning generator, just for the days when the solar panels can't do much about the rain. And let's face it, if I had to go back to a crosscut saw to collect my firewood, well, okay, it could be done. But I would find it extraordinarily, what you might say, difficult. If you see what I mean. So never forget that just like everybody else in all of Australia, I am totally reliant on fossil fuel to hold my lifestyle together. Right, so with those caveats in mind, let's go and have a look at how shit works. Part 1, line 1, minus 30 to plus 260 Celsius, or minus 22 to plus 500 degrees Fahrenheit. At 1 metre, it's got a 40 millimetre measuring zone, so it claims. It's actually a bit more accurate than that, but they're trying to avoid lawsuits. Okay, so the ambient temperature (18 degrees, 16 degrees, 15.2 degrees, 14.9 degrees, 14.6 degrees. Okay, 15.1 degrees, 15.7 degrees, 15.9 degrees. That gives you a bit of an idea of the ambient temperature, yes? Okay, so we're inside the hut. $32.5 degrees, 32.7. Okay, what do we got on the Potbelly, which needs feeding from the split cut firewood stored underneath, being pre-dried by the otherwise waste heat. Okay, lots of firewood in there. We will open the ash drawer as an air vent, close the main door, observe the evidence of a fuel-rich mixture being fed to the small hot fire, but we notice we've got almost a clear exhaust. Like I said, almost immediately upon lighting up. See, we have a convection runaway. Which we'll let continue to occur. Right, so now we consider the flue of the Potbelly, which has, as I explained in a previous video, insulation air inlets, or sorry, cooling air inlets at the bottom of the outer flue. And the Potbelly is also surrounded by a heat exchanger, which intercepts approximately 50% of the radiant heat provided by the bell of the Potbelly. Okay, so this is the air inlet for the heat exchanger surrounding the back half of the Potbelly. And the air temperature coming in right there is showing up as 24 degrees, right? And the closer we approach to the bottom corner, the hotter it gets, right? This is in reading in Celsius, by the way. (92 degrees). Okay, 80 degrees at the top of the inlet side, and in there 125 degrees coming down to 90 degrees at the bottom. That's on the inlet side. Over here on the outlet side, (220, 130, 185, 190, 227, 234, 160. So you're looking at 104 degrees Celsius at the bottom of the outlet side of the heat exchanger. Up there towards the top, 105 degrees. If we come over here and we look at the test window, the air leaving the heat exchanger is 62 degrees Celsius. The heat exchanger is being fed air which comes from the bunk room low down in an insulated, I call it a return line, which enters the hut down fairly low. The hot air, it travels through an also insulated and much strongly sloping delivery line, so that 50% of the radiant heat coming out of the potbelly in the main room is delivered via a thermosiphon driven heat exchanger into the children's bunk room. And as we said, 16.2 to 16.4 degrees in the forest here. Whereas here in the bunk room, 19.7, up in the corner there, 19.6, 19.8, 21.5, 20.4 at head height. Whereas at the air inlet, whoops, there we go, 42 degrees. Air temperature being delivered to the children's bunk room by the thermosiphon powered heat exchanger, with the return circuit drawing its air from underneath the bottom bunk. But I've got to admit, this place has become pretty much too cluttered since the kids left for me to be able to actually illustrate that without doing a great deal of repositioning of stored items. So we'll forget that. We'll accept the point that, you know, it sucks air from underneath the bottom bunk and delivers it at twice the temperature, you know, like 42 degrees instead of 20 degrees. And so I hear you ask, what temperature does the potbelly actually run at? Okay, 30.928, whoops, where are we? 26, 27, 26, 31, 32, 117, 123, up there on the top, 62, 127, 131. Yeah, about 131 degrees at the chimney there. 169 degrees on the inside, 170 degrees on the inside top of the chimney. 52 degrees, 57 degrees on the inside of the ceiling. 77 degrees, 80 degrees, 82, 78, 77, 70, 67, 65, 63, 68, 85, 73, 69. And we're about to come up to an anomaly here. Bingo, there, 115 degrees. What that is some corrosion baked onto the outside of the stainless steel. And because the corrosion has got a darker surface and more surface area, it radiates more heat. Okay, so below the corrosion, 63, 65. Now right there, 86, just above the level of the cooling holes, go below them, 138, 145, 163. So you see the value of those cooling holes in the space of an inch. they can reduce the temperature by 100 degrees Celsius. So there you go, and now you know. Hillbilly, Potbelly Thermodynamics, bain't, as silly as it looks. Ciao.